You guys met Walid Shoebat face to face about a month ago, I think it was. Been watching him on the internet for a long time, and I just love this guy. I love all these guys, but I know him a little bit more, and he needs no introduction. Walid.
Some people doubt, how is this guy with an accent who claims to be an American as well? He's half Palestinian, half American. It doesn't make any sense, but I am. In fact, something Brother Kamal said that was interesting. When the Muslim was threatening him, he says, you know, we are coming to take your country. We convert 20,000 of you every year. In fact, we seed your women. What is that supposed to mean? I don't have to be explicit. We will take your women and we will make and generate Muslim children as a result of these women. In fact, this is what I was. A Christian girl who is not aware of her faith that much, who becomes unequally yoked and marries a Muslim, can kiss her country, can kiss her freedom goodbye. She visited the Middle East. She had no clue about the Middle East. She had no clue about my father's connections. My father, you know, his father, my grandfather, was one of the best friends of a notorious figure by the name of Hajj Amin al-Husseini, the Grand Mufti of Jerusalem, the Supreme Muslim Council, who was also an excellent friend with a very notorious character by the name of Adolf Hitler. I don't know if you ever heard of Adolf Hitler, but maybe if I bring it to the West and bring Islamism to the West from that perspective, maybe you can see it. My mother didn't realize that when she visited the Middle East, she was 9 months pregnant, she didn't realize that she was never going to be able to go home. She gave birth to myself on the upper room of my grandfather's house in Bethlehem. I was born in Bethlehem the first day she arrived there. And she said they wrapped you with swaddling cloth and they sacrificed 2 doves. And she wasn't kidding. I grew up my life in the Middle East, of course, just like these 2 gentlemen. My mother couldn't say much to me. You think that you can teach your children Christianity if you're an American. You think it's like the movies, but I'm an American. Her passport was taken away. She was literally not allowed. Her whole life story for 35 years is an attempt to escape with the children back to America. Of course, her first attempt to escape to America, she got to the Jerusalem embassy, you know, in the the American Consul General, the embassy in Jerusalem, and she had to do a bunch of paperwork. She had to spend the night at the YMCA hotel in Jerusalem with the kids. And in the morning, as she went to the embassy, she was caught by the family on the entrance of the American embassy, taken home to the house of obedience. My mother began to realize that Islam is like the Hotel California. You can check out anytime you want, but you can never leave. In fact, you will rarely ever hear of a Muslim girl marrying a Christian boy. Can you tell me if you ever heard of a Muslim girl marrying a Christian boy? Why? Because the punishment of a girl who is Muslim that marries a non-Muslim is death by her own family. I would be honored to kill my sister for marrying a Christian. But it's not a problem for a male Muslim to marry a Christian girl. Do you think when the Bible says, young girls, especially young girls, when the Bible says do not be unequally yoked, do you think Christ was kidding? Do you think he was joking? Had you asked my mother marrying a Muslim and marrying out of her faith, before she married my father, she would probably shut her ears to you. Ask her now what it's like to be unequally yoked. There is 2 things in the Middle East we say about women. Girls can cover up everything except 2. When she's in love and when she's pregnant. She can't hide it. When a woman falls in love, she's weak. My first recollection at 6 years old, it was in Jericho, the 6-day war erupted. I don't know how many of you heard of the 6-day war. In 6 days, Israel was victorious. On the 7th day, they blew the shofar, the trumpet, on the Wailing Wall in Jerusalem. My mother was elated and very happy. She knew. She said, I knew that Israel was going to win. I knew because I studied it in the Bible. In fact, if you look at the Bible, very interesting document. It talks about Joshua. Joshua had a 6-day war. Because if you look at the text of the Bible, On the seventh day, early in the morning, the children of Israel arose and walked around the walls of Jericho 7 times. Early in the morning, the day has not begun. That's why Israel had to rest. It is an event that happened in front of the whole world, and God was speaking. I know many of you young would look at the Bible and study the story of Moses. You would study the story of Joseph and Joshua and all these wonderful stories of the Bible, and you would imagine and think to yourselves, wouldn't it be wonderful if I was there when Moses parted the sea? It'll be great. Wouldn't it be wonderful? But we live in a time that you young folks, you young kids, live in a time that is greater than the time of Moses. Because Moses tried to get the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt, one country. Yet, when I was 6 years old, I witnessed the Jews coming from 100 different nations without even a Moses. In fact, the Bible even foretold about it. The day is coming, saith the Lord, that no longer will the children of Israel say that God, who's brought the children of Israel out of the land of the north, but God who's brought the children of Israel out of all the lands where He has driven them. What an amazing time that I lived. Yet there is no way my mother could teach me the things that she knew. Of course, living in the Middle East, going even to a Christian school, we learned that all the biblical characters of the Bible. I went to a Christian school, 3rd and 4th grade. They had a good English program. My father wanted me to learn English. I remember walking into this Bible study. I was not allowed into Bible study because I was not a Christian. I was a Muslim. My birth certificate says Muslim. My birth certificate says father Muslim, mother Christian, child Muslim. And then I walked into the class. I wanted to study the Bible. And I began to learn for 2 years that all the biblical characters, Abraham, Moses, Jesus, all these were Palestinian revolutionists. Abraham was a Palestinian revolutionist. Moses was a Palestinian revolutionist. Jesus was a Palestinian revolutionist. The Bible was taught to us in a book as a book of revolution. In fact, you don't have to believe me, but you must believe Hanan Ashrawi, the right hand of Yasser Arafat before he croaked. She said that Jesus is a Palestinian from my country.